Welcome to a post-game live at youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast. If you're listening to this after I publish it, if you want to watch us be live, you can find us here at youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast. I am Chuck Mockler. Adam Osmond is doing his thing over on Clippers Talk. William Updike, I think, is going to join us. We are Clips and Dip. The Clippers get their second win in a row, 114-107 against the annoying, and I mean that respectfully, the pesky Portland Trailblazers. This game kind of got away from the Clippers in the second quarter, but they, no pun intended, righted the ship, which was good to see. Kawhi kind of took over late. He ended with an efficient 30 points and 10 boards. He also looked very quick in transition, which I think is a good thing. James Harden, not the most efficient game from outside, but, 13 assists. The turnovers were a little rough. Again, a lot of those came kind of in that second quarter, which was not very good. But I think Brian Seaman said there was 3 good quarters and 1 bad one. And that's what happened in this game. Credit to the Blazers, who have a bunch of lengthy, young, aggressive defenders, which this game showed us in that second frame. That is how you make the Clippers feel uncomfortable. The Blazers' pressure clearly rattled the Clippers in terms of ball pressure. I'm waiting for the stats to come. Let me look at the stats from the second quarter, but that was where you really saw it on display. I think we saw CP3 struggle with that this game, which makes sense. I don't think that's a crazy thing to think. That's kind of been his kryptonite defenders-wise his whole career, but you just saw it a little more accentuated tonight against a young, lengthy Trailblazers team. Already mentioned Kawhi Leonard. He was fantastic. Ivica Zubac. I started a little slow in this one. We kind of saw Zoo play his way into form a little bit in this game. His defense was great to start. He kind of showed the presence early in this one down low. But the offense was a little shaky to start. But then once they fed Zoo, as Adam Osmond says a lot, and he's right, if you want things to be easier, give Zoo the ball. When the offense was in the muck, you could give it to Zoo and things were okay. But obviously, the offensive player of the game goes to Kawhi Leonard in this one. Phenomenal from outside. Late, we saw him hit a mid-range to take the lead to 9 points with less than 2 minutes. And then he hit a weird little push shot right after that. He's back. The healthy offseason very clearly helped Kawhi Leonard, which the Clippers needed tonight. You need that star power to lean on, and we got that from Kawhi. John Collins off the bench. Incredibly efficient. The energy was there. As soon as he checks into the game, he's looking, how can I make a play? How can my energy help this team? And it was just awesome to see. He's so good off the bench. A lot of people on Twitter want him to start. I don't know. I don't know if he'll start. The Clippers were without Bradley Beal in this one. Which, how are we feeling about that? Are we nervous? He took a charge on Friday, and that caused some back issues, is what Ty said, that game a couple days ago. Is that concerning? That taking a charge caused this to flare up? Bogey was in his place, and he was not good. He's kind of playing his way back into shape, but Bogey had a rough game in the place of Bradley Beal, but I don't know what my concern level should be for Bradley Beal. I'm sure we're going to get some post-game quotes in just a few about it, but I don't know. Don't like it. Didn't feel good. All right, we got some post-game quotes coming in. Kawhi Leonard played well, obviously. Justin Russo saying in the post-game, Ty Lue said it's his responsibility to get Kawhi Leonard touches early in this game, which makes sense. Kawhi had 9 in the first quarter of this game. He also had, I think he had 9 in the – oh, no, sorry. That was I think he had 9 in the third too. We got in the third quarter, the Clippers got 27 points from Kawhi, Harden, and Zoo, which was awesome. Obviously, things were figured out after the second quarter was bad. But I love what Ty Lue's saying here post game. Early touches. It makes sense. He's rearing to go. The speed looks great. He's moving well. He's shooting well from the outside. Like, sometimes the Clippers, Joseph Fry Award talks about how the Clippers get in their own way sometimes. And this is a thing to make things not in their own way, right? Okay, Logan Rapp saying, it's concerning if it's a habit, but if he's probable next game, then I'm fine. Yeah, Clippers play again against the Warriors on Tuesday, which I'll talk about in a bit. They play at 8 on Tuesday. Jesus Christ. Yeah, hopefully he's fine for that game. Good call, Logan, on that. We're doing a spooky font as well. If you're only listening to this episode, we're doing a spooky font. Yeah. Chris saying, this game made me realize we need Beal. We need someone else that can handle ball pressure besides Harden and Kawhi. I totally agree. We saw Ty Lue talked pregame. He needed Bogey to do that tonight in this game. He said, like, Bogey needs to be there to be the secondary ball handler, basically. That was not there from Bogey tonight. It was really rough. Dunn ended up starting the second half in place of Bogey for in this one. Dunn was a really good secondary ball handler in this game. I totally agree with the needing Beal take. I'm not taking that away from all, but in this game particularly, huge credit to Chris Dunn because he was good at that late. And he was good in the mid-range. He was good in the paint offensively. Did he hit more than 1 3? No, he went 1 for 3. It was a big 3, though. They needed it. Little foul happy from Chris Dunn. The refs were weird in this one. But yeah, hopefully Beal can go next game, just rhythm-wise, obviously, so we feel better about his health. And it should help Bogey, too, because Bogey missed the preseason. He had an injury. So I don't know how upset I can be at Bogey, really, given how little basketball he's played, but tough spot to be when he's starting. He's not supposed to start for this team. So for a lot of reasons, hopefully Bradley Beal is back, but also just for Bogey's sake, so we can get into some kind of normal rhythm that he will have when everyone's healthy on this team. Mike saying, this is the type of game we lose last season. Collins and Lopez are major bench impacts. I don't know if we lose this game last season. But maybe it's a little harder. Yeah, Lopez was phenomenal. He finally scored his first non-3. Took a lot of time. People kept trying to dunk on Brook Lopez in this game. There was a couple. Shaedon Sharpe tried to throw one down on Brook Lopez, and he blocked the shit out of him. He's been phenomenal. John Collins was great. I like this is a great quote. I don't know how to pronounce that. Too many fouls and too many turnovers. That's it. 100%. That's what a lot of this game boils down to. 22 turnovers in this one, which they came in bunches. There was only 3 in the first quarter. They were really good about turnovers in the first quarter. They handled the ball well. And then I think they had 6 in the second. It was downhill from there. Harden guilty for some lazy turnovers that you don't like to see. Other than that, he was very good, I thought. But yeah, a lot of turnovers and a lot of fouls, which I think, again, credit to the Blazers. They played aggressively offensively. They got the calls. Some of the calls were a little soft. There was some that was like, that's okay. That's what we're doing. Logan Rapp saying, I think we'll see Harden, Dunn, Kawhi, Derrick Jones Jr., Zoo start in future Beal-less games. Lopez Collins makes things so much less shaky that you feel less lopsided if Dunn and DJJ start together. Yeah, I think it'll evolve too, for sure. Yeah, Lopez and Collins are such a calming presence off the bench for the Clippers. Combined 9 for 14. John Collins helps out a lot, obviously, by going 7 for 8, but that's phenomenal. The efficiency is great. Yeah, nice to see Big Zoo getting some touches. Second most field goal attempts on the team for Big Zoo. Very early in the season, people were worried about Brook Lopez's shot diet eating into kind of Zoo's field goal attempts, which could still happen, but Zoo really found his groove this game offensively. I think we saw Kawhi do it kind of in the first quarter of that game on Friday. And I think we saw Zoo really kind of get back to what we expected and liked from last year. Yeah, there is way less anxiety from the bench unit. Unfortunately, I think some anxiety on the bench unit happens when Chris Paul was getting pressured in this game specifically. He had a really good shift to open the fourth, which was needed. It was nice. But there were times when Chris Paul, it was like, okay, this isn't not your night. I like that Kawhi limited his minutes well. He kind of had to. Chris Paul only played 11 minutes in this one. We saw Harden slow down at the end, which is where Chris Dunn's secondary ball handling really came into play and kind of helped Harden just get his legs under him a little bit more because he was looking a little gassed. But kind of a tough game from Chris Paul outside of that fourth quarter shift. Figuring it out. We were short a guy. He's an older guy. Only 11 minutes, but wasn't before that fourth quarter shift. It was a little tight from CP3. Yeah, the bad. It really was just the turnovers and fouls. The Blazers went on a huge run in the second quarter. It's like 25-8 or 25-4 maybe. And the game was slipping away. But then at half, we saw some adjustments, which was great. Again, should have some more post-game quotes coming in. Love that it's 2 in a row. That feels good. It was nice to see them battle back from a game, which is awesome. They were down 12 at one point. We really got to clean up the turnovers. So turnovers and transition defense is kind of what the Clippers' bugaboos were going to be this season. And I guess it's good that there's no surprise bad things so far for the Clippers, albeit through a handful of games. Harden was good tonight. Again, aside from the outside shooting. Yeah. What's your guys' concern level for Bradley Beal's injury? I don't know where I'm at. I think I'm not that concerned. I'm not super concerned about Bogey playing poorly. Because I think he'll look better when we're healthy. Yeah. DJ D-Flow saying, the Clips always get shaky when the young teams press them. 100%. And that is what – I mean, we knew that was going to be the recipe coming in for other teams. If you make Harden work a lot early, is the secondary ball handler really has to be on point for the Clippers. Tonight that was Bogey and Dunn. Usually it will be Bradley Beal. Obviously, I think we don't look as rough in the second if Bradley Beal plays in this game. That was just, yeah. The Blazers did not shoot well. So, like, the defense, when it wasn't fouling, played well, which, that is kind of a large part of the game. Blazers shot 37% and 27% from three. They also just had 34 free throw attempts. Yeah, okay, yes. Maynard Caldo saying, every time Derek Jones Jr. brought the ball, I'm like, guys, are we sure about this? That was some interesting decision-making. I don't know if all of that was Ty Lue's decision, but the Blazers were on a run. Their defense had the momentum through bringing pressure. The Clippers ball handlers couldn't handle it. And yes, for some reason, Derrick Jones Jr. was bringing the ball up, and it was like, this is not going to go well. And I think he turned it over, if the possession that is running through my head right now proves to be correct. Yeah, they were really ramping the pressure, and Derrick Jones Jr. was trying his best, but that's not his spot to be. That was questionable for sure. I will agree with that 100%. Yeah, we are old. Back soreness is the oldest injury to have for a team. So very, very good point there from Logan Rapp. Batum and Collins was a really fun pairing. Just because Nico is phenomenal. He had a chase down block tonight, which was awesome. Really productive 14 minutes. Despite, again, only having 3 points, but his defense was needed. Yep, thank you. It was a Derrick Jones Jr. right at the half court line. I was like, what the hell? Yeah, we're going to look old. I'm worried about this team playing against the Thunder. I mean, obviously the Thunder are a phenomenal team, but that'll be an interesting test to see. Because talk about pressure and young legs. Yeah, Kawhi's defense. Kawhi's just moving so well. Adam talked about this in the preseason. He was like, I just want to see how guys are moving. Kawhi moved well in the preseason. First game was a dud in the regular season, obviously. But tonight, he was flying up and down the court. And yeah, again, he had the mid-range late and the push shot late to take the lead to 9 with less than 2 minutes, which is awesome. Awesome shot profile, I think, for the Clippers for the most part tonight. Kawhi, 21 field goal attempts. Zoo, 14. Harden, 12. Collins had 8. Part of that's the efficiency. Chris Dunn had 6. A little more than you want, but he cashed 1 out of 3 threes. Yeah, Kawhi fell twice in this game. Awkward falls. Weird. Not like he bent weird. They just looked awkward. Like the crowd kind of didn't know how to react. Yeah, Drew Holiday fouled Kawhi. He hooked his arm. It was odd, but he popped up, which is good. Popped up after laying down for a little bit. Yeah. Shout out Shaden Sharp again. Tried to dunk a bunch. Got blocked. Yeah, I have taken the memories from game 1 out of my head too. Thankfully, after it hasn't been that many games, obviously, but it does feel like that game 1, everyone was like, "Oh, this seems horrible." It does feel like seeing these 2 games in a row after how bad game 1 was feels good. That feels good, and they get a test against the Warriors on Tuesday, which I'm going to talk about in a few. Let me know you guys, just your favorite parts of this game. This is a live after the Clippers beat the Blazers. This is going to be a spotty week ahead, FYI, coverage-wise with the World Series. It's just how it goes. We will be back to our regular scheduled programming after the World Series is over. Sorry about that. That's just how things are. Okay, yeah. The Fry guy was a great bit. I reacted to that fall like it was my own grandfather. Yeah, the whole crowd did too. Brian Seaman kind of called out the swell on the broadcast today. It was in the middle of the Blazers' giant run in the second, but he was like, I'm not really feeling it from the swell. And then they got into it during free throws. So I like that. I love what I'm seeing in year 2 of the kind of way the swell and the wall is being incorporated into more of the just atmosphere of the team. It's awesome. So shout out to everyone on the wall. Shout out to the swell as well. Yes, we are. I am a Dodger fan. So we'll do a post game probably on Tuesday for sure. Probably. and then we'll see where we're at. But we'll be back to normal stuff after this week. We always do. This is how it goes. Yeah, Kawhi's probably player of the game in this one. I liked what Zoo did. Harden, if he didn't have the turnovers, would have been nice. John Collins, man. Hats off to John Collins for what was his quote in the – he said if he's a starter, he's going to bust his ass, and if he's coming off the bench, he's going to bust his ass. And he has been phenomenal off the bench for the Clippers. Fantastic signing. So is this is nothing to take away from Brook Lopez either. They've both been kind of everything the Clippers thought they would be and what the team needs. So it's just good to see that kind of slowly manifest itself. Good stuff for the most part. Cut down the fouls, cut down the turnovers. Life will be easier if you are the Clippers. The Clippers play the Warriors on Tuesday. They will get them on the second night of a back-to-back, which is nice. That's great for the Clippers. Happy for them on that. The Warriors will have played. Let me go look up their schedule real quick because I forgot who it was. Yeah, they play the Grizzlies tomorrow, and then they will play the Clippers at 8 p.m., which means the game will start at 8:15 or something like that. I don't know. I'm getting old, clearly. But we do get the Warriors on the second night of a back-to-back. As of this recording, the Warriors have played 2 games. 3 games. So not a whole lot of stuff to take away from them right now. Good-looking offense, pretty rough defense. Kuminga is seemingly buying in for the Warriors. Yeah, Shohei's pitching. We'll get it. Look, that's how it goes sometimes. Baseball's at 5, basketball's at 8. Yeah, Kuminga buying in. Kuminga's the kind of guy who can give an old team like the Clippers trouble, right? So hopefully we can kind of shut him down and make a large contract for him seem like a bad idea. They have Horford, who is just an annoying guy to go against. Talk about a calming presence, calming veteran presence. Kind of battle of the elderly against the Warriors this week, which will be a good game. It's a good test for the Clippers. Tonight was a great test for the Clippers. A young team that is not interested in losing games. Now we get to play an old team that's not interested in losing games. Yeah, I'm a little worried about Jonathan Kuminga versus the Clippers. He has been buying in, which I don't like as an opposing fan. But I do like Logan Rapp, I think, just said it. Yeah, Collins and Lopez have both been fully engaged in games from the jump. Going to need it against the Warriors, for sure. We need that engagement. It's been fantastic. Hey, Manik Caldo wants to see Yannick get like 4 minutes a game. Sure. Things are going awesome if Yannick is in the game. He's already caught 1 lob from CP3. Make it 2. We couldn't play Yannick tonight, though. Right? We agree at that. Yannick should not have played tonight, and that's fine. Yeah. Good win tonight. Weird win. Again, only 1 bad quarter. Clippers do play the Pels on Halloween. Terrifying. I think the matchup I'm most scared of this year is happening on Friday, which is the Clippers versus the Pels on Halloween. Who the hell knows what's going to happen against the Pelicans on Halloween? Zion scores 150 points. I don't know. If you've watched the last couple of years of Clippers versus Pels, you know that insane things happen. So we will see what happens against the Pels on Friday. Zion and Jordan Poole are really good at scoring the ball. not so good at stopping that. So we'll see with that. I am petrified of Pelicans on Halloween. As of this recording, I don't think Pels fans would be super bummed, but maybe not super hyped as to how the team's doing. It's very early in the season, but these are when young, springy teams are healthy. These are when young teams can get you if you're an old team, right? Like, if the Clippers have a second quarter like they did against the Blazers tonight, which was full of turnovers. I think they had 6 turnovers in the second. The Blazers had a 20-something to 4 run. It was rough. If they have a quarter like that against the Warriors on Tuesday, which is a better shooting team, things are a lot harder. So let's eliminate the spikes in turnovers and fouls. I would like that to be limited against the Warriors on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Lopez versus Horford is going to be interesting. And yeah, don't dunk on Brook Lopez. They were trying it tonight. He was not letting people do it, which was awesome. Zoo had a couple of sick blocks too. The bigs, it's so nice to have comparable bigs on this team. But still, transition is a bugaboo. Turnovers are a bugaboo. That is kind of what we thought would happen. And we just got to hope that those things don't come in bunches. Yeah, Brooke holding it down. We love to see it. All right, I think that wraps it up for me. I hope everyone has a good rest of your week. Not a lot of post-game quotes. It's kind of annoying. Here's to beating the Warriors. That would feel good. Here's to 3 in a row. Here's to beating the Warriors on Tuesday. Hope everyone has a safe week. If you're listening to this afterwards, watch us at youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast. It's a fun time. It's myself, Adam Osland, and William Updike. Again, little spotty coverage this week, which we do apologize for, but we will be back in full force next week. Here's to 3 in a row. Here's to a normal game against the Pels on Friday. You'll probably hear from us before then. Maybe we'll do a live on Thursday or something. Thanks for hanging out. Subscribe if you want to know when we go live. You can hit that notify me button. And Logan Rapp saying he's just glad the Clippers don't play Wemby until March. I don't know, man. He'll probably be better in March. He's just going to continue. We'll cross that terrifying bridge when we get to it. Hope everyone has a good start to your week. And as always, let's go Clips.